How did you set this up? How come nobody tackled him?
Do you think that it's respectful to come to the Oval Office of the United States of America and attack the administration that is trying to prevent the destruction of your country?
A lot of you have nice ocean and don't feel now, but you will feel it.
Don't tell us what we're going to feel.
I'm not telling you.
Because you're in no position to dictate that.
That's exactly what you're doing.
You're in no position to dictate what we're going to feel. With us, you start having
playing cards.
Right now, you're playing cards.
Have you said thank you once this
A lot
entire
of
meeting?
time. If you will speak very loudly about the war,
He's not speaking loudly. He's not speaking loudly. Your country's in big trouble.
Can I
Wait a
answer?
minute. No. You've done a lot of talking. Your country is in big trouble.
I know.
You're not winning.
I know.
You're not winning this. We gave you, through this stupid president, $350 billion. We gave you military equipment, and your men are brave, but they had to use our military. If you didn't have our military equipment...
Yeah. Barakatah Yahweh. Barakatah Yahweh Shai. All praises and all honor and all glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakah Kwadash. Double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well and do well. The elder apostles, bishops in Connecticut, the bishops, the preachers, the teachers, the evangelists, and the four winds, preaching in truth and sincerity, risking your lives more now than ever, the hopeful elect, the elect, Shalom, to the Israelite foreigners, whose phenotype may look like another nation, but bloodline goes back to Israel through your father and have come back to the fold. Shalom to you sisters, you Akwathium, who listen and learn under your husband, which is your spiritual leader, with meekness and with silence. This your brother Aram Yehawada with the lesson. Yeah, this is Ezekiel 35:1, right? While they're basically arguing back and forth. And this is live on top of that, right? This is, I mean, the whole world seeing these Edomites going back and forth, right? You know, but it says, moreover, the word of Yahweh came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Mount Seir. And Mount, right? It's not, I mean, there is, you know, the mountains or Mount Seir where Esau come from, but it's talking about the people, right? And basically the top of the mountain, right, which is called a summit, which that's what Esau has. He has all these summit meetings, right? And summit means the top of the mountain. When you go into the summit, it's that one, basically that 1% of the mountain, and they're basically speaking the 1%, you know, who basically runs everything, right? Right, and they are a people before a place, just like we are, right? In some cases, when the depending on how the scriptures break it down, it's speaking of them being a people before a place, right? So he's speaking of the place, but the place represents the people, right? That's why it says, prophesy and set thy face against Mount Seir and prophesied against it. Because what need do the Lord need to prophesy against an actual mountain or mount? There's no need for that, right? The mountain didn't commit any sin. It didn't do anything wrong. And say unto it, and how could we do that when the Lord knew that we would be in exile, in slavery, in Babylon the Great, right? It ain't no coincidence that you went into on slave ships. You were sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you, right? So you go into Egypt again, right? So it's this spiritual Egypt, right? Right, this bondage that we have here in Babylon the Great. It's not like the Lord didn't know that. So how are we going to prophesy against Mount Seir? Talking about the people, right? There are people before a place in certain cases, just like we are. Israel is a people before a place, right? in some cases in the scriptures, how it says it, right? and that's basically where the Lord's getting at. Saith the out of one power, the Most High Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, behold, which means feast your eyes, look, pay attention, O Mount Seir, I am against thee, and I will stretch out my hand against thee, and will make thee most desolate, and what? And I will lay thy cities, right? Who lives in cities? See how the Lord proves it? Who lives in cities? Who builds cities? People, right? So it's talking about a people before a place. I will lay thy cities waste, and thus shall be desolate, and thus shall know that I am Yahweh, right? You're going to know Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, have done it, man, right? So all this thing is all being played out on the world stage while you dudes arguing back and forth between each other, right? And yeah, the Lord is causing it, right? You know, they may have a faint idea that there's a God, and they don't truly believe, or they know but they don't know, or but the Lord's going to make it well known, right? And thus shall know that I am Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakakodash. Yeah, I'm going to continue on. Ezekiel 35:5 says, because thus has had a perpetual hatred, and has shed the blood of the sons of Israel, right? Because children goes into sons, but then, I mean, you killed, women too, right? So-called Israelite women, black women, so-called Hispanic women, right? So-called Native women, right? You killed, us, right? The men, women, and children you've killed, right? The bombing, was at a church? Can't remember where it was at, but it was back in the so-called 60s or so. They blew up a church, killed some little children. See, and that's basically what the Lord was talking about right here, because you didn't hate blood, right? You hated the children of Israel, the sons of Israel, right? Right? And, a nation starts with the men, right? So you hate the men, women, and children by the force of the sword, right? The modern day sword is the gun. In the time that their calamity and in the time of their iniquity had an end. And, some people might, I don't know. I always say my thing, when I think of this, I think of like the 60s when we were separated from them. People were still, uh, we had this camaraderie, so to speak, as so-called black people, right? So-called Hispanic people. We had this, this thing where we were, but then they brought in pro COINTELPRO. I'm not saying it right, but the COINTELPRO or some Slovakia. I'm not saying it right, but they brought in their they're manufacturing demons, should I say? You know what I mean? To manufacture issues and problems, right? Within certain movements, you know, the Black Panthers and, you know, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X. You cause certain things to happen, assassinations, bombings, shootings, and then you go, look, it was them. You know, the it's crazy, bro. And that's when you brought in the heron, and you integrated us, right? And now, which had to be prophecy, right? Because now you got, because it tells you in Deuteronomy, it says your eye shall be evil towards your brother, and that's ultimately what brought that in, most definitely. I mean, not to say Jakes wasn't fighting against each other before that, but that definitely brought in, you know, uh, you know, a reason for Jakes to fight against each other, right? That's when you had certain uh, gangs and crews, and I sell my heron and things on this block. You have to sell your heron and things on that block, and then you shoot each other over territory, money, right? So-called respect of the streets, things that didn't exist before that time in the 60s. You go to early 60s, they didn't have 50s. Jake wasn't fighting like that over, you know what I mean? But because you went to, was it Vietnam or whatever? The Vietnam War brought in a lot of heroin, opium. So you brought that in, and you brought more in during um, the war in the Desert Storm War, right? You brought in more different opiums, and hey, man, you tried to destroy us, man. Even though our iniquity had an end, right? But now you're coming to your end, and here you are, you're arguing on, you know. But supposedly this dude came back and decided to make a deal, but it's not the deal that he initially said that he was gonna do. Still not the deal that he said, especially for as much money as the American people have put into that place, which really, like the scripture, I'm gonna go into it. They deceived you, bro. They're deceiving you, right? They have to do this to draw you back in, right? Therefore, as I live, right, the Most High, and He's definitely a living power, saith the outer one power, the Most High, Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee, saith, thus has not hated blood, right? Because that's the so-called what you never hated blood. You bombed a church, right? You're supposed to be this God-fearing people. Who bombs a church? That is insane, bro. Right? And then you killed little children, and you looked at it like, oh well, no big deal. They were just some nigger children, right? Right? No big deal. Right? So you didn't hate it. So guess what? Judgment has to come to you. I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee, saith, thus has not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee. Okay, so wait, man, judgment is coming for this place. Yeah, so this is Revelation chapter 13, verse 1. And I stood upon the sands of the sea, and that deal with the people, right? Right, the people of the earth. And I saw a beast rise up out of the sea. So this beast came from amongst the people to be a ruling class people, to rule over the people, right? And it says, having 7 heads, right? And the 7 heads being Greece, Rome, Germania Major, Germania Minor, right? Spain, Britain, and France, right? 7 horns. 7 heads, right? 7 heads. And the 10 horns and 10 horns upon the horns, 10 crowns, right? 10 crowns upon his head, the name of blasphemy, right? And the 10 horns goes into Berlin, Denmark, France, Italy, Luxembourg, the Netherlands, Greece, Spain, and Portugal, England, and Ireland, right? Because those are islands that's pretty much they're together, right? And Western Germany, right? Which would basically be the 10 um, oligarchies, right? At the time, right? And this was their ruling system, right? It says, and the beast which I saw was like a leopard, right? Going into that first um, rule of Esau, right? Going into the Greeks, right? Which Alexander the Creep or Greek, right, wore a leopard hat, and that was part of his thing, and he had took down the nations, and it kind of represented what he did because he took down all the nations swiftly, right, within his 12 years of ruling. When you go into the Maccabees, I believe it's first Maccabee, it says that that the earth was quiet, right? He made it to where nobody wanted to go up against him. Nobody wanted to make a peep against him. This is how much he conquered and against these nations, and it was pretty swift, right? Because he only ruled for about 12 years, and 12 year he died, right? So that was swift, like a leopard. Leopard's pretty swift, pretty fast, right? So that's kind of representation of a leopard and how he took down these nations. And his feet were as Salakia, and his feet were as the feet of a bear, which that's talking about the end of the Edomite society being Russia. Russia is the bear, but Russia is not part of NATO, right? Even though um, Putin did admit that Russia did help Israel get in that land during the time of the Balfour Declaration, right? So they know that they're Edomites, without a doubt, right? Right? Because every major war Esau's been in, Russia, even though they're not necessarily part of the thing, they've been there helping. Putin said they helped against the Taliban, right? He said they helped. He came out his own mouth and said they helped them get into the land in the time of the Balfour Declaration. That Russia helped them. So, but the feet of a man is the end of him, right? You have your head, right, which will be Alexander the Great, which is the beginning, the start of it. The feet will be Russia, right, because that's going to be the last of the Edomites. that the Lord's going to have to destroy, defeat, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion, right? And that's dealing with England or London, England, right? Right? And the dragon, right, which goes back into they created in England, they made it's a thing called the Roman Treaty, right? Starting with England, and they made a thing called the Roman Treaty, which goes back into that dragon being that red dragon, which is Rome, right? Right, the Greco-Roman Empire, or the Roman Greco Empire, should you say? Because it was the time of Rome ruling, but Rome knew who they were, so that's why there was the Roman Greco Empire, right? Which is that dragon gave him his power, and he sat in great authority, right? And that was for a time, that was England, or London, England. They sat in great glory because they were saying that the sun never sets on England, because they ruled pretty much the entire world, right? Which they pretty much still do, because America's just the front. So technically, England still rules over America, but as a front, they make it look like they don't, because when you go into that Boston, what was it called, the Boston Tea Party, that fight that they had, that was all, you know, it was fake. When I mean, not the people dying fake, but it was a setup to make it look like they were overthrowing the so-called authorities, right? But really, the England still basically, rules over America, right? In secrecy, though, right? That's how they set it up, right? Yeah, so this is Revelation 17 and 11. And the beast that was and is not, right, dealing with the Roman Empire, it fell for some time. It was and is not. It don't seem like it's here, right? Don't seem like, well, how can it be the Roman Empire, right? Even he is the eighth, right? So the one that had the deadly wound that was healed came back, right? Dealing with the Treaty of Rome, dealing with NATO, right? It says the eighth, right, basically, because you're dealing with the seven heads, but there's an eighth that came out of that seventh head, which is America, right? And is of the seventh, right, came out of England, right? They had that, like I said, they had that so-called Boston Tea Party, had the fight, but which that was, you know, it was something to make it look like a crisis, and something happened, right? And you know, it was basically smoke and mirrors, allegedly, right? And it says and goeth into perdition, right? Which that's what's going to happen to America, right? America's going to be destroyed, right? Completely. And that's what that guy was speaking about. He said, you have an ocean between you. You don't feel right now, but soon you will feel, right? And that's biblical, right? That is biblical, right? And yeah, and you will feel, right? And that's definitely biblical. It says, and the 10 horns which thus saw are the 10 kings, right? Which we basically gave you that. The, Belgium, Denmark, France, Italy, Luxembourg, Netherlands, Greece, Spain, England, Western Germany, right? And of course, you got Ireland that's with England, because England and Ireland is the same island. I think Spain and Portugal are pretty much the same, people, because, or the same landmass pretty much. But, uh, but yeah, that's the 10 horns, right? Dealing with that Edomite structure, that Edomite power structure, right? We know that those are all so-called white people, right? Self-proclaimed white people, right? And what does it say? Which have received no kingdom as of yet, but receive power as kings 1 hour with the beast. And that's when you go into, NATO. NATO was created exactly 42 years ago, and when you go into 42 years is 1 hour with the Lord. So NATO was created 42 years ago. So that's proof that's those people, right? And when you go into Daniel's, it talks about it's mixed with miry clay, and it's starting to break apart, right? You had the Brexit, and you had all these different things, and these are the things that's starting to manifest, right? Yeah, so that's Daniel's 2:41. Whereas thus sawest the feet and toes, part of potter's clay and part iron, right? Because that's when they were the Roman Empire, they were iron, right? Completely iron. It was a strong society, right? But now this basically knowing who they are, going back into the Treaty of Rome. You can look it up. They have it called the Treaty of Rome. Why if they're not the Romans, if they're not the Edomites, if they don't know who they are, why come up with this Treaty of Rome, right? Matter of fact, so this is a AI overview. The Treaty of Rome came into force on January 1st, 1958. It was signed in Rome. Wow, see? It was signed in Rome on March 25th, 1957 by 6 European countries. Man, they know who they were. They know who they are, right? Treaty of Rome established the European Economic Community, right? Treaty of Rome, right? Yeah, so, now economics ain't looking so great right now, right? So now they have to bring in the digital right? Digital slavery, right? Right? Which the biometrics, right? And it said, and the 10 and the feet, part of potter's clay and part of iron, the kingdom shall be divided, right? And that's where they're at right now. See them bickering between each other. They're divided, right? And what did Yahushua say about a kingdom that's divided, or a house that's divided? Hey, it can't stand. It ain't gonna stand much longer, right? Especially when you deal with your toes, right? Your toes are so important, right? You can have your feet. Chop off a couple of those toes. You would not have the same balance when you walk. Your toes being such a insignificant member of your body, you don't really think about your toes as much as you should. But your toes keep balance of your body. You won't walk the same without your toes. Your toes are very important. So think about how this is. And then if you're mixing things all together, right? Part clay, part iron, they don't go together, right? But this is what they're doing because they're trying to keep their kingdom going. But it's not working, They're basically spinning their wheels, so to speak. Right? So now they're divided. Now they're bickering between each other. But there shall be in it of the strength iron, right? Because you got some of the nations that have money, which now like a place like Germany, who used to have great wealth, no longer has great wealth, right? Because they dumped it into this Ukraine war and all these other different things. The way the so-called dump the dollar to bring in the charagma, right? But this is going to be to their detriment, right? It's not gonna turn out good for them at all, right? And then what's going to happen is they're going to hate the whore, which is America, right? Because they're gonna look at America as the reason for all their problems, right? Right along with the small hatters, Amalek over there, the ones that say that they're Israelis, right? Over there committing genocide, right? So it says, as for as much as thus saw its iron mix with miry clay, and as the toes of the feet were part iron and part clay, right? Your toes are important, bro. So the kingdom shall be partly strong and partly what? Broken. And that's what's happening, man. America's got a great military. That's what's basically propping America up because of the military. Without that military, we would have been destitute, right? But it's the military that's propping America up. But other places like England, they still kind of got, they still got money. You got, France still got money, right? You got these other places, they still got some money, right? But you got a lot of these other places that's starting to be broken, right? And then America has the world currency, and as much as they're trying to dissolve the dollar or destroy the dollar, everybody's so interconnected with this dollar. It's ultimately going to affect the entire world once America falls. So that's the Lord's plan, right? We're as thus saw its iron mixed with miry clay, they shall mingle themselves with the seed of men, right? And that's ultimately what's happening. Also, they're bringing in all these migrants, and the migrants is basically destroying also the economy. But then they were saying that the Democrats of America paid for that, for the migrants to go into Spain, for the migrants to go into England, the migrants to go into Germany, and also the migrants to come into America. Basically like a way to systematically collapse everything, right? And I don't know what point they're trying to prove by doing that, but you know, and then they're trying to get along as so-called other fellow Edomites, but the Lord said no, they're going to be divided. The Lord's going to cause their mind to come against each other, so they ain't going to be able to come against they ain't going to be able to come together, right? They're going to try to cleave one to another, right? No, but they shall not cleave one to another. But shall not cleave one to another, right? Salakia. And even as iron is not mixed with clay, right? See, so just the way the iron can't really mix together with clay, they're not gonna be able to so-called hash out their issues, or they might say they're hashing out the issues, right? But overall, they're gonna end up fighting against each other, right? And matter of fact, they're gonna hate the whore, right? Because Germany is in the dead of winter without any heat from Russia, which was cheaper, and now they're bringing in other means, coal or whatever they're bringing in from America, which they have to pay 2 to 3 times more in order to heat their houses, to warm their houses, when it was a lot cheaper coming from Russia. So Russia cut them off completely. So now they're gonna turn around, and then they had this thing with Zelensky, Slovakia, what we see, and people are trying to make Zelensky a hero over what Trump was saying. Even Americans, after all our money went to that freaking place, right? And this dude come over here and beg for more money, and then he's arguing but which we know it's all a show. But how dare a person who spent billions and trillions of your dollars come look you in the face and then and still have some shit to say, bro? That is crazy. But we don't give a damn. This is all it's all part of the show, man. Right? It's part of the Lord's movie, which is gonna get them destroyed, right? Yeah, so this is Revelation chapter 17, verse 15. And he said unto me, right, which is the angel speaking to John, which basically was Yahweh Shai, I believe, said unto me, the waters which thus saw it, where the whore, right, which is America, sitteth, are peoples, right? Because America has their military. They have over 100 and something bases around the world. Almost 200, like almost 200 military bases, not in America. We're talking about scattered around the world, right? Like 140, 150, something. It's like a crazy number. Matter of fact, I mean, we can look it up real quick. Yeah, so this one right here, Politico or whatever, Politico, Politico. It says the U.S. still maintains nearly 800. See, I was wrong. 800 military bases in more than 70 countries. Right? That one said 800. This one says around 750 in 80 countries. Right? That was said Al Jazeera. Right? This is Chicago Council Global Affairs. But I guess this information came through Al Jazeera. Right? Yeah, right here is Al Jazeera also. Military around the world in the U.S. controls about 750 bases in at least 80 countries worldwide, and spreads more than its military than the next 10 countries combined. Right? So that's all America has at this point, because the dollar is crap. People are not having the confidence in the dollar that they used to have, right? So the thing that's propping America up is that military, and it's literally spread around the world, as we could see. But that's what the Lord is coming to do, and that makes so much sense. Why the Lord said that He's gonna get it's gonna allow Him to get the glory upon His name by taking down America. When you have 800 or 750 military bases around, you know how large the span of your military and your power and your influence in the world is, bro. That makes so much sense why the Lord has to take down America to He had to take down the whore, right, and the waters which thus saw were where the whore sitteth upon. That whore is America, are peoples and multitude of nations and tongues. See, man, 800 military bases and more than 80 or to 70, 75 to 80 countries, bro. This is in the 10 horns, right? Which we know that's like those European nations, which is basically NATO, right? NATO, the EU, right, so to speak, which thus saw it upon the beast. These shall hate the whore. They're gonna, and pretty soon, as you can see through this argument with Lazinski, they're starting. Well, they've been hating America, but the hate is starting to intensify. The separation, the division between the Edomites is happening even more, right? Because Putin, being Russia, is on that other side, and so what Trump is trying to do is trying to patch it up, because him and Putin has I don't know, they have like this connection with each other. So if he could pull them in and say, hey, let's have this peace, but then Lazinski said, hell no, you can't have a peace talk without me. Basically jumping in and dividing everything all over again. Now you can't have this peace. Now he's trying to prevent World War III, which you can't, because World War III has to happen, right? The whore has to go down, right? And they're gonna even though those people you've been trying to help and been trying, like you said, look, we try to help your country. We spent millions and billions of dollars trying to help Ukraine, but guess what's gonna happen, man? Look what the Lord has in store for you. Those shall hate the whore, and shall make the whore desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. So they're gonna send ICBM missiles, man. They're gonna send ICBM missiles upon you. All those people you gave that money to, and you helped, and you so-called made an alliance with, just so you could come against them, against Russia, because it was, that was another superpower upon the globe as far as military. And you said, hey, we could do this, and we'd work together. We could run the world, and you have, right? 42 years you've been running the show, right? That 1 hour, but now your hour's about up, and the Lord's coming to destroy this place, right? Here's what: in 1 hour, great riches came to what? To naught. right? That's what the Lord's about to do. Yeah. So it's Obadiah chapter 1, verse 7. It says, all the men of thy confederacy, right? Because you basically, hey, let's make a was it the Treaty of Rome, and let's make a European Union, and let's make a NATO, and then we'll be also part of NATO, and we'll act like we're separate, but you have to do the beck and call of whatever Europe says, or what Amalek says over there in Israeli, right? Because a lot of those small hats run England, Europe, and it's in their best interest to keep Israel, right? It's pretty much in their best interest, because that's how they've been, keeping the world deceived. Hey, we're these we're fit Bible prophecy, and no one questions them like they question us, but yet they don't fit the curses in the Bible, the conditions that the Lord said that people would be in the time of his return. They don't fit that. But no one questions them that they don't fit those things. But now we're coming to the time that all that great separation is starting to set in. That clay can't mix with iron. It says, all the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. Right? You're the border of wickedness. Hey, and they're going to show you that they're wicked too. They're going to bring you to the border. Right? The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee. Right? And that's some wicked stuff to do. Right? When I basically, we went hand in hand. We cried together. We bled together. We conquered. We took over the world together. But now things is not looking favorable. You about to throw me out the window? That's some wicked stuff. So they're going to even take you even to the border. They're going to, hey, man. Right? And they were at peace with you. And the men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevaileth against thee. They that ate thy bread. And Lazinski ate, man, he ate bread, bro. He ate that bread, bro. I don't know if you know, but back in the day, we used to call money bread, right? Back in the day, they used to call money bread. I want my bread. What you was talking about is money. So he ate bread. He got that bread. It says, I just went into how much have America used, money did America give Ukraine. It says we have now used the emergency presidential drawdown authority on 55 occasions. God damn. Right? Since August 2021 to provide Ukraine military assistance totaling was at approximately $31.7 billion, which really the other guy said it's really more than that. The dude saying really it's in the hundreds. It's like 100 trillion. Because it's damn near like it was almost like $1 trillion a year or something like that. Some crazy. It's like a crazy number, right? So yeah, he got that bread, man. They got that bread, bro. That cheddar, they got that bread, the cheddar, whatever you want to call it, bro. He got that bread. He ate. He got that money, man. He ate thy bread, right? Have laid a wound under thee. There is none understanding in him. So with all this stuff, you could tell that Donald Trump don't really understand, because he's a businessman. He don't know about political things. He's just looking at it as business. Okay, if I do this, this is supposed to happen. Which, in a sense, he's right. Certain things are supposed to happen. If you put a certain amount of money in, you should be getting something out of it, right? If America spent majority of the money on the war, why shouldn't you be able to? If you're over there, there's precious minerals being mined and taken out of there, and I'm funding the war. Why shouldn't I get a majority or a good share of those minerals to come back to plenish all the money I spent on your war? And then here it is, London, was it probably even Israel? Probably London and Israel is receiving majority of that money, even though it's being funded from America. So he's going in there like, hey, wait a minute, nah, something has to change. We're pretty much funding the whole thing, and some of that has to go probably in his pocket first. But you spread the love to the American people too, a little bit, right? After they fill their pockets, right? But it makes sense though. But they hate the whore now, right? They didn't deceived. They're gonna keep reeling in. So now supposedly they came up with this thing where they decided to go ahead and go with the deal, which is still not a good deal, right? Yeah. So this is Zelensky's conciliatory letter to Trump suggests he's running out of road, right? He's running out of options, right? Zelensky describes the Oval Office meeting. It says Zelensky offers terms to stop fighting, that Ukraine wants peace, right? It says Ukraine willing to sign mineral deal days after, there you go, days after Trump Zelensky argument, right? So now he coming up. Well, it's a way to just reel him back into this whole thing, right? Because they've been eating that, they're getting that money, man. He's trying to get that bread, man, and get some more of that bread, right? They're gonna take him even to the, because there's no understanding in Trump. He don't understand what's going on. They're gonna lead him to the border and destroy his ass, right? Zelensky says he will work under Trump leadership. He's propose Ukraine peace, right? U.S. pause intelligence sharing with Ukraine. CIA chief says, right? So this whole thing got them divided. So they didn't want to share. Hey, look, we ain't sharing no more intelligence with you. You got us nervous, right? So then he comes back and says, "Oh, you know what? Yeah, let's make a deal so you can get a couple of minerals from the place, and we'll see what happens, right?" But they're gonna lead him to the border, man. Yeah. So this is Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 12. Your mother shall be sore confounded, right? So that mother is right. We said the 7 heads and the 8th came out of her, which America came out of England, and England is, which would be the mother of America. So even England is going to shoot missiles on this place. The mother, your mother shall be sore confounded. She that bore you shall be ashamed. Behold, which means fix your eyes, look, pay attention. The hindermost of the nations. And where's the hindermost of the nations? That's America. All the other nations, you know, the eastern part of the world where we all come from, right? This was the last part of the world which to fit prophecy that needed to be filled up with people and basically be our punishment, our prison, right? Judah and Ephraim were oppressed together. We're in this place, Babylon the Great. Thou should go into slavery on ships. And there you should be in Egypt again with ships. You know, Egypt really basically going back to Mizraim meaning a rock and a hard place. And that's where we're at, man. America meaning bitter. We're in a bitter place where we're in a rock and a hard place on all sides, being crushed on all sides, right? In our slavery, in the time that the charagma is about to be pushed, right? That mark, the charagma, which is the biometrics, is the mark of the beast, right? So that beast system, right? The fourth beast, right? Which that's what we're talking about. That fourth beast system, right? And that hinder most of the nations shall be what? A wilderness, man. They're gonna shoot missiles upon this place and turn this place into a desert, bro. So many missiles are gonna hit America, right? Because they're gonna hate the whore. They're gonna eat it with fire. That's the missiles, man. They eat her flesh with fire. They're talking about this place, man, right? America, Babylon the Great, man, and all you people that's in it, and shall be a wilderness, a dry land, and a desert, right? Because of the wrath of Yahweh, Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, Ba'Shem Rakal shall not be inhabited, but it shall be wholly desolate. Everyone that goeth by Babylon, which is America, which is the place of confusion, Babylon, Babel, confusion, right? And that's what this place is, full of confusion, right? And shall be astonished and hiss at all her plagues, right? The main plague being those ICBM missiles. But the first plagues is what? The race wars, the collapse of the dollar, the many different diseases, right? You're gonna look worse to the third world country. If there was a such thing as a fourth world country, that's what you would be. You're not even a third world country. You'll be a fourth world country, and how the decline of America is going to be, and people are going to laugh at that. They're going to be like, "Oh, that was supposed to be such great America. This and that. Look at them. Look at the people. Look at all the things. Look what they're." And you're going to see people begging them, "Please help us. Send us food. Send us something. Somebody help us." But everybody else is going through some stuff too. Right? Because this is a thing where the Lord said he's going to try at the world. Right? You know? People are going to laugh. And then, like I said, the ultimate is them ICBM missiles. It's going to turn this place into a desert. Oh, yeah. Well, see. Put yourselves in array against Babylon round about, all ye that what? Bend the bow. And what bow are they talking about? Them ICBM missiles. Right? Shoot at her. Spare no arrow, right? She's talking about the ICBM missiles, right? And oh wait, don't forget the hypersonic missiles. That even North Korea said they're developing a hypersonic missile, right? And this place is in trouble, bro. Right? Spare no arrows, for she have sinned against Yahweh. Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, Ba'Shem Rakak Kodash. Hey, Double honor to the apostles, the elders of Great Millstone, who rule well and do well. To the elder bishops in Connecticut, you know, to the preachers, the teachers, the evangelists, the bishops, the teachers, the preachers, the evangelists, and the four winds, preaching in truth and sincerity, risking your lives more now than ever, the hopeful elect, Shalom. To the Israelite foreigners, whose phenotype may look like another nation, but bloodline goes back to Israel through your father and have come back to the fold. Shalom. To you sisters, you Akwathium, who listen and learn under your husband, which is your spiritual leader, with meekness and with silence. And Abba Babal, Kwam Yasharallah.